Hello, hello, hello. I'm Colleen, and this is Aimee Gilbreth from PetSmart Charities. She is the president there, and we're going to get into talking about the pet industry. Aimee, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. So Aimee is such a amazing person in this industry, and I kind of want to go over some of the things that you've done and how we know each other from before. So, and I'm just really excited that you're a guest on our Working with Animals series. So thanks so much for being here.
Of course. Totally my honor.
Okay, so we're going to go through this, go over about you, ask you some questions, and then we're going to open it up for questions that can come in. So we're going to start getting people to come on, and it's also going to be shared live, not live, I guess, but it's going to be shared later onto our YouTube and our LinkedIn as well. So can you tell us a little bit about PetSmart Charities?
Sure. PetSmart Charities is the biggest funder in animal welfare. We are coming up in about a year and a half on our 30-year anniversary. And as you can see on the screen, we've funded over $500 million worth of work in animal welfare. So the programs that you probably know us best for are in-store adoption. So every PetSmart store in the PetSmart chain hosts adoption events. Most of the stores have built-in cat adoption centers. So you very visibly can see the commitment to adoptions. The part that you maybe don't see as much is the other part of our portfolio, where for a long time we have supported high quality, high volume spay neuter clinics. We're now supporting access to care. We have a huge program in pet food insecurity and disaster response, and things that you might not know us for as well, because they're not right in the store with 4 legs and a tail and fur looking happy. So we actually do quite a bit to support pets and the people who love them. We're super clear that once a pet finds a home, that's just the beginning of the journey. And we'd really like that pet to stay in that home for a long, happy life.
And how did you get into working with PetSmart Charities?
I got into working with PetSmart Charities from my previous role. So I spent 12 and a half years in Los Angeles at the Michelson Found Animals Foundation. I was the founding executive director there and got to help build and grow that organization, which was incredibly fun. It was my first job in nonprofit, and I really appreciated that Dr. Gary Michelson took a chance on me way back in 2008 and thought that I had the skills and the passion to have his vision come to life. And after 12 and a half years of doing that, I got recruited by the Charities Board to take this role at PetSmart Charities in Phoenix, which happens to be my hometown. And I've now been here for 2.5 years, and I am absolutely loving it because we get to have a national impact on a really big scale.
Okay, I actually just need to stop you and tell everyone how amazing of a person you are. When I think of Aimee and some of the work that she's done because of working at Michelson, Los Angeles had a really high kill rate. Michelson's goal was to make Los Angeles no kill. And at the time when I heard that, I was like, there is no way that will ever happen. Aimee was kind of running that program, and well, it's just like, I would ask you like how many cats and dogs were spayed, but like at the end of the day, they helped make Los Angeles no kill, which was such a crazy accomplishment. I'm like, you're one of my heroes for that.
And it was definitely not me or my organization alone. An incredible coalition of organizations came together and really did the heavy lifting. And yeah, if you go back and, the No Kill LA was the city of Los Angeles, but if you go back to all of Los Angeles County, at the time that I started in 2008, those shelters were taking in all of those shelters combined were taking in about 200,000 animals a year, and about 100,000 of them were dying in the shelters. And now the intake numbers are down by about 50%. And then the live release numbers are way up. So as a group, we did a lot. My organization, we did thousands of neonatal kittens, and so did a lot of other fantastic groups in Los Angeles. It was a big project, and I have to give credit to Julie Castle at Best Friends for being the first one to say, I think we could actually do this, and all of us having the same reaction you did, and then pulling together, and over the course of several years, making it happen.
Yeah, I remember there was one month where you told me the number of the amount of cats you guys spayed, and I don't remember, but I was blown away. How many cats and dogs did you guys spay in a year? On average?
So at Michelson Found Animals, we were the operating partner for 2 mobile spay neuter clinics, and each of those clinics were doing, 6,000 plus a year.
It's nuts. And then you also had the store as well that you guys did spay and neuters there too.
We had Adopt and Shop, which was where we did pet adoptions. We pulled all those animals out of shelters and got them adopted in a storefront. We also had grooming and daycare. And then in a tiny little back room, we did a kitten nursery. And that kitten nursery at its peak was doing over 2,000 kittens a year. So they would come in as little tiny babies. We would get them out to foster homes. We would support those foster parents, and they would come back and get adopted at the store. But it was kitten palooza all the time. And really it was 400 square feet that we were working out of. And we made that 400 square feet work for 2,000 plus kittens a year with the help of many, many, many wonderful foster parents who opened their homes.
It was a really cool, really, really cool spot. And you guys should definitely look into it if you can. Now we have loads of questions from people that came over on our community and asked a few things. How have you seen the pet industry change? And I know that you're more on the nonprofit side, but since your start in the pet industry, what have you really seen as the major changes that have happened?
So I'll talk intersectionally about what we've seen change. And I would say we have seen an acceleration capped off by the pandemic in the humanization of pet trends. Meaning that if I'm on a keto diet, maybe I want my dog to be on a keto diet. If I'm getting acupuncture, maybe I want my pet to get acupuncture. So those trends were already around and were being researched and are great because they speak to the strength of the human-animal bond. And then during the pandemic, when everybody wanted to get a pet if they didn't have one and everyone was spending more time with their pets, it just accelerated because now you were home with your pet. And that was maybe one of the only sources of entertainment. And so not only were you noticing lumps and bumps and limps and wanting to take your animal to the vet, but you were wanting to make sure that their toys and their treats and all of the things that you got for them really reflected the level of care. So the pet industry has seen tremendous growth, acceleration of this humanization trend. All of the polls and the surveys out there will tell you that now the vast majority of people consider their pets a family member. The pets sleep in their bed with them. They want the best for their pets. So that has been really great for pets and for people. And then what I would say is the last couple of years, more in the realms that we care about, I think that there's a dawning recognition and a change in thinking. Whereas when I entered animal welfare, there was a big conversation about those people. And if those people can't afford to have pets, they shouldn't have them. And now I think that there's a recognition that, you know what, by definition, 50% of the households in America live with less than the median income. That's just how medians work. And those folks may struggle to afford a big vet bill, but does that mean that they shouldn't be able to have the joy and companionship of a pet in their life? That conversation is really starting to shift, and lots of different parts of the industry, and particularly then the health and human services industry, are thinking, oh, well, during the pandemic, when so many families struggled with food, if those families had a pet, the pet was struggling with food too. So, hey, human food banks, shouldn't you think about also carrying pet food? And those are programs we work on. So I think there's a better understanding that just because a family's income is not tremendous doesn't mean they shouldn't have access to pets. And the industry is really starting to try to figure out how do we support that.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the first thing that you said to start off. My dog and I both go to the same chiropractor because I'm crazy.
Or not.
I will take it and it's okay. It's fine. And I love that you said acupuncture. That's great. And also, I do think that you're right with the humanization of pets right now. And I think what we saw in a trend was more people were getting pets, and in social media, I mean, over the past 2 years, the influencer industry has increased and doubled. So over the past 2 years, the influencers that are out there came on the scene in the past 2 years. And because people got more pets, and it was great because rescues were having a hard time in COVID, getting more animals for people to foster. They were kind of really holding on to that. Now it's getting hard again because some people have given up their pets, whatnot. But I definitely see that huge change as well. If people are more humanizing their pets.
Yeah. So what's actually going on is, there was a sellout at the beginning of the pandemic. There was a sellout of adoptable pets. Then what's happening now, it's not so much that more pets are coming in or that people are giving up their pets. It's just that there are less people wanting to adopt. So the length of stay in shelters is going up and shelter inventory is going up. So it is a time when people need the most help. So it's a great time to foster or adopt, especially as we go into the spring and summer kitten season.
Yeah, kitten season is definitely a great time. And I think this is your question. Sorry. I'm excited for this event. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to learning how this company is improving pets' life. And if there are any volunteer opportunities, I would love to join Pets on Q mission. Also, Aimee, do you guys have any volunteer opportunities at PetSmart Charities?
So we don't directly have volunteer opportunities because we don't have animals in our care, but we do support over 3,500 shelters and rescue groups around the country. And what we were just talking about, the best thing that you can do to help, if you want to help, is to go foster an animal. To take a dog or a cat out of the shelter. Big dogs are particularly in need of help. And then in the spring and the summer, kittens, litters of kittens, mama cats with kittens. When you take them into your home for even 2 weeks, you relieve pressure on the shelter. You let the shelter have the opportunity to help more pets. And then also in your network, even if you're not an influencer, when you take photos of those adorable little kittens in your bathroom and you share them on your social media, the chances are you're going to connect them to a new home in your network, which again really helps the shelter. So that's something that you can do no matter where you are in the country, no matter what your skill set is. You don't have to have a ton of time. You don't have to have a ton of cash. Anybody can foster.
Yeah. I'm going to take that one off. I know we have a few more questions coming in. I'm going to save a lot of them to the back. There are so many ways that you can get involved. Like if you want to improve your photography skills, go into a shelter and take pictures of animals. They need better photos. They need help with that. You can go do that. You can contact, and I think that if you have a rescue, how can you get involved with PetSmart Charities? Because you guys do grants, you help to the adoption events, you guys do a lot, and you give a lot of money to people. So
the best opportunity we have, the sort of unrestricted funding, doesn't require a big application process, is to become an adoption partner in store. So if you are a group, and particularly if you are a group that doesn't have your own physical facility, you can apply to become part of our adoption partner program, and you can partner with your local store, and you can bring your animals to the store for adoption events. And it doesn't have to be a big event. It can be every Saturday. And the beauty of that is not only can you get traffic and people to see your pet and get them adopted, but it's a great way to recruit volunteers and donors.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm going to go here. Do you ever work with animal talent? And I know, I can define animal talent, and I know that we have worked together on, a few things. So animal talent for us is, my mouse is just moving, sorry. Animal talent for us is animal actors, animals for events, and influencers and content creators. So for PetSmart as a whole is a little separate from PetSmart Charities. So PetSmart is typically the one that will hire influencers to promote their mission out because they have more of a budget for that.
Yes, well, and a great example of that is in 2022, we celebrated the 10 millionth adoption through the program between PetSmart Charities and PetSmart stores, where Charities finds the rescue and adoption partners, connects them with the stores, and then the stores provide the space and some labor support. So it's a joint PetSmart Charities program. And in celebration of that 10 million milestone, PetSmart used their dollars to go hire influencers to do a TikTok challenge called Who Rescued Who. They got a huge amount of views and visibility. So that's an example of a way that, yes, it was PetSmart's dollars. And of course, PetSmart at the end of the day wants you to shop there for your toys and treats and beds, and you should. And then at the checkout, you should donate to PetSmart Charities because that's how we get funded. But it was also a great way of them using their dollars and putting it into pet talent to spread the word that there's still a huge need to adopt pets.
Yeah, we've also worked together when you were at Michelson. Whenever we do events and stuff, what basically we've done multiple times was go into the rescue group and find some of the best cats that are great to be around people. They're not stressed. A lot of kittens that we would get and bring them to events that attract people to come over to a booth. The kittens get adopted. Every single time, I think all the cats got adopted except for when we had one that was sick that we had to bring them back just for health reasons. And then on top of that, we were able to fundraise, and that was spaying and neutering. I think as a total, we've spayed and neutered, it was like 300 to 500 cats with the funding that we had from that. And it was just amazing. I feel like that was maybe just 1 year, but we did it almost every single year when you guys had so many kittens around. So yeah, thanks for that. And just another way that you can work with animal talent if you are a nonprofit and you want to have funding. Like we've also worked with kittens and bringing them on to like with Mario Lopez and like being interviewed, and we had some cute kittens, and it gave you guys exposure in exchange for us grabbing a couple of kittens.
And something that I would encourage folks to think about is we had this experience recently where we got a last minute email from a conference saying, hey, the people that we had lined up to bring animals to our conference event canceled on us at the last minute. Can you help us find another partner? And we went into our database and looked for partners in the area and connected some people. And I think for the groups that are bringing the animals, you probably think of it as like, wow, it's a lot of logistics because I have to have a staff member, I have to have volunteers, and I have to pack everything up and drive over and set it up. Yes, it is a lot of work, but this conference in particular was a huge veterinary conference.
And yes, I spoke to them about it after.
But then the people who are coming to the booth and interacting with the kittens can be amazing networking. They can become volunteers. Yeah. They can become donors. They can become volunteer veterinarians and vet techs. So the payoff for putting in the work of taking animals to an event like that can be really well beyond the effort that's required, and maybe in ways that you wouldn't normally think about.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to note that if you want to do that, there are permits, there are insurances required for this. So like, if you want to do that, you really do need an agency partner like us. So if you have any questions on that, please let us know at Pets on Q. That's great. It's amazing. I'd love to help promote and charities one day. I can't see the whole. Is there more question on that? Oh yeah, I can. Oh, that's great. I'd love to have you guys help out. I mean, when we do another campaign for them, I will definitely be letting you know in our community or on our platform. That's awesome. And look at that. We have a golden right there. What's your favorite PetSmart charity story?
I have about one a week, so I'll just pick a recent one. So one of the members of my team recently moved from Los Angeles to Phoenix to take a job with PetSmart Charities. And she already had a shelter dog. And then in being out visiting our partners, this is something that commonly happens to people on the PetSmart team. She got showed this dog. He is a 130-pound Great Dane mix, and he's unfortunately got the double recessive Merle gene. Yeah. So he's blind and deaf, and found as a stray. So I don't know if you can imagine a 130-pound blind, deaf, stray Great Dane.
Yeah.
And she absolutely fell in love with him and ended up adopting him, which made the group so happy. And his name is now Gatsby. And he comes to the office all the time when she's in town. And maybe someday he could become pet talent. Because
I mean, I love deaf and blind dogs.
He's incredible. He's blind, he's deaf. It doesn't slow him down. He figures out ways of working around it. He's the sweetest thing. He's good with other dogs. I genuinely have no idea how he turned out so incredible. And also, I'm so glad that he was found when he was found, because a blind, deaf dog isn't going to last long as a stray without getting really hurt.
Yeah, I know a rescue group that actually specializes in Great Danes that have the double Merle gene in Texas, and I keep telling her to get in touch with you. So I need to actually put you two like on an email chain.
We're actually going to highlight special needs pets as part of our March National Adoption Week, which is coming up for all of our rescue partners. So even a better opportunity to submit stories to us, and then we'll highlight some of the special needs pets that our adoption partners have that really need homes.
Okay, how do people submit adoption stories?
Well, the link is not up yet, but if you are interested in anything at all, you should go onto the partner section of our website at PetSmartCharities.org right now. And we're actually having an adoption partner summit on Tuesday, February 14th, in the spirit of love, loving pets and loving people who love pets. And during that adoption partner summit, which is an hour long, you will get tons of information about how to become a partner, how the programs work, et cetera.
Okay, great. Here, I'm gonna. I keep missing some of these stories, so thank you guys for that. And I saw that you also do a chiropractor with your dog as well, so that's funny. Us crazy dog owners. I don't know why that is such a hidden thing. It was kind of crazy. Oh, thank you. It's kind of crazy that people didn't realize that your dog can go to a chiropractor. Like racehorses, these horses are worth millions of dollars. They see a chiropractor at least once a month. It changes their life.
Acupuncture, massage, chiropractic, any of the modalities. My old dog, before he dearly departed, we did red light therapy on him to help him manage his aches and pains. And so if you are a pet parent who is super obsessive about that, essentially any of the medical modalities that are available for people are available for pets.
Yeah, I have a red light therapy at my house. If your new dog needs it, just let me know. You can borrow it.
What about the Reiki pig? Now I have not heard of a Reiki pig.
Move that over. Yeah. So we have a guy that called the other day. He does Reiki on pigs, and it's just so funny, and he's going viral right now online. So
why not?
It is actually kind of unreal to watch. Like these pigs that he's just meets, and they could be like feral. He gets them on their back, just chilling, so he can like take off their horns and massage their feet, and it's just something else. I just love it.
Animal lovers unite.
Yeah. So guys, Aimee is the president. If you missed the beginning, she's the president of PetSmart Charities. And she kind of runs the show. She is such an important person. She also was helping with LEAP, which helped businesses like myself who were new at the time really get in and make different connections. So Aimee knows almost everyone in this industry. So is networking an important part of the industry is our question.
Tremendously important. And I can give an example. So I've now been in animal welfare and nonprofit since 2008. So gosh, that's almost 15 years. And there were folks that I met and got connected to because we were working on a microchipping project at Michelson Found Animals who were in the veterinary industry. And we weren't doing anything tremendously big in the veterinary industry, but I kept in touch with those folks and I would occasionally go to meetings. And then fast forward, I came to Charities and we decided to really double down in access to care. And Colleen and I recently saw each other at the VMX meeting, and we were launching our big new announcement of a $100 million program that we're doing over 5 years. And it was very useful that I already knew lots of people in the industry before we were ready to take on a veterinary program, because that meant that I already had some credibility, some connections, some people to ask. And I think it allowed us to have that much more impact more quickly than if we had started from scratch. So those were relationships that I didn't necessarily think I was going to need from a professional standpoint versus just people that I liked or people that I kept in touch with. And it paid off.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like everyone. I want to say, like, I mean, I love research. What are your tips?
15 years is a long time. If you're around for 15 years and you have a few glasses of wine from time to time at receptions, you get to know a lot of people.
Aimee and I will tear up a reception floor together. Just so you know, if I'm at a conference and Aimee is there, we are going to find each other. You've done Reiki healing on Hank as well. That's so funny. What are your tips with networking?
It's a tip with networking and also a tip in life in general. I am just such a huge fan of authenticity. And sometimes that looks like vulnerability. And in order to have conversations in a context like an exhibit hall or like a happy hour, there has to be something real. There's only so many times that you can talk to people about your business, which of course you love, but bringing something more and deeper to the conversation. So I'm willing to talk about my son if I've actually had a bad day or an embarrassing story or something like that going on in my life. I like to be willing to bring that into the conversation because that's what makes the conversations memorable and real and authentic. And I find that accelerates having someone be just an acquaintance that you met towards becoming a friend.
Yeah. Well, and I also have to be transparent. Aimee and I are friends. Well, I'm going to force you to be an even closer friend as we go on. But
how did that start? It's not like we set out to be friends. We met through business.
Yeah.
And then we kept in touch and we put effort into that. And then we ended up in the same place at the same time and ended up being moms. And it was a friendship that developed over years that started from an initial networking contact.
Yeah. Well, Aimee, you put in a lot of effort too, because when I was doing it and getting going, it was, you really do have to. I think authenticity is such a huge thing, and especially if you're an influencer in here, your post should be authentic. If you want to get brand deals, like working with PetSmart and PetSmart Charities, and you're trying to, or like from QuickShine last week, being authentic and having them relate to you in another way, other than that you're just that influencer. I time and time again will speak to people like Aimee and, other brands that will basically say, I liked them because, in their creative brief, they said that they mentioned that they like the product and they actually use it. And there was something else that they said that made it really authentic that I related to. Or one of them just got a Bengal kitten, and that kitten, then they're relating to this other influencer because they're fostering a kitten. too. And it's just a very interesting thing. You just want to be authentic, be you, become friends. Like, I think going out, not setting out to be friends, but just be friendly. And then over time, like now our kids play together.
Yeah.
It's just happened over time.
My son adores Colleen because he's 4 and she always has snacks and sweets. And so he's a big fan.
I always make cookies when he's coming over. He's basically my kid now. Him and I enjoy the cookies and everyone else likes all the other things. And Mom and I get wine. It's great. Is there anything exciting and upcoming that's going on with PetSmart Charity and upcoming news with PetSmart Charity? Sorry.
Well, the big news that we just had in January was that we are investing $100 million over the next 5 years to improve access to veterinary care, because we are in recognition that pet ownership is way up. People love their pets more than ever, and veterinary care is more expensive than ever. So we just talked about how all of the modalities that are available for people are available for pets, but you know what? Most pets don't have insurance the way people do. So in order to access that care, you're paying out of pocket, and sometimes families can't afford that. So we're looking for innovative models and different ways of practicing, because our estimate is that it's a $20 billion a year program. So $100 million over 5 years sounds like a lot, but it's still a drop in the bucket to the scale of the problem. So I
have a contact for you for this.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I will talk to you about this after. A company pitched me a while ago about this, and they already have the model set up and they have the infrastructure that's been going on for.
You want to fund them?
Yeah. I need to write this down. Sorry guys, this is a webinar and I'm like, we're going to do this now. This is what it means to have connections in the industry. When things pop up, I'm now going to go help another brand that wanted to do an influencer campaign.
Yes.
So
yes. Then the other things we have coming up is March, second week of March, is spring break time, is actually our spring National Adoption Week, and it will be a focus on special needs pets. So we'll be having adoption groups in stores, and there'll be more animals than usual in a lot of PetSmart stores. So if you want to volunteer, or if you're looking to adopt, second week of March is a great.
If you need any help with like deaf dog and blind dog training, that's my specialty, so I can help with that.
No, Gatsby somehow is like good to go.
That's crazy. Does she do like touch training? Like, hey, it's time to eat this.
She does touch training, like, I don't even know how to explain it, because he can feel a little bit of the vibration.
Yeah, Charlie does vibration too. Yep.
So like taps on the floor and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'll help you with this one, because PetSmart adoption centers don't technically acquire the animals. They have partners. So Aimee basically manages and helps work with all these different rescue groups, and they are the ones that pick the animals that go in there, and they are their animals. It's not PetSmart's animals. They helped give grants and help fund other rescue groups and help get those animals adopted, but they are not owned by PetSmart. They are owned.
It's a beautiful partnership between 3 entities. So the PetSmart stores provide the space. The rescue and shelter groups actually own the animals, bring the animals, for the most part, process the adoptions. And then PetSmart Charities provides the funding to make it all go around.
Okay. So now I need to basically send you an email introducing you to the Hot Mess Pooches rescue group in Texas. And she specializes in disabled dogs. So do you want me to email you, or?
Yes, please. We'd love to talk to them and maybe feature them, get them to be a partner if they're not already, for March Gnaw coming up.
And the company that helps fund people that can't afford their dog surgeries. It's basically almost like a crowdfunding, but brands can come in and help support it as well.
Excited to hear about it.
Yeah. Okay. I will do that. But guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And next week, I'm going to be talking with Melissa, all things Pets on Q, production, working with animals, influencers. We're going to kind of go through everything and have, I'm just talking with Melissa on our team. She's our COO. But Aimee, thank you so much. And we should get together this weekend.
It's so good to see you here. And I hope I see you in real life.
In real life, really, really soon. Thank you guys so much.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.